with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Friday morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we are about to venture into territory we don't normally see here in central New York. This bad, huh?
Yeah, we got some bitter cold temperatures and enough to remind you that winter time is in full force, at least for the next few days. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. First off, keep in mind, we have such a busy next few days. It might get overwhelming, and we'll try our best to kind of explain hour by hour, day by day impacts. But at least to start, here are your impacts as you are getting ready to leave this morning. It's cold. Wind chills are in the single digits. These are expected to fall throughout the day. So if you think this morning is cold, make sure you grab any layer that'll be warmer as we have those wind chills dip below zero this afternoon. And we're also experiencing some light snow in parts of the Mohawk Valley, central New York. This is courtesy of Lake Erie. Not too often do we get Lake Erie influence in the Mohawk Valley, but with a system, the cold air aloft this strong, this is certainly the possibility here. The snow is sandy in texture due to how cold the temperatures are right now, which allows, of course, the snow to really kind of fly away when the winds pick up. That's the type of scenario we're seeing here. And, of course, some intense lake effect snow heading up north. But regardless, we look at some roadways this morning. You might encounter something that looks like this. A light layer of snow on some roadways. Personally, driving in, they weren't that slippery because, again, this snow is very powdery. But when it starts accumulating a bit more, there might be some concerns there. Those of you driving along Route 20 this morning, a heads up, there is a road closure right along this area here, heading out toward the capital region due to a crash and fallen power cables on Route 20. So this happened around 3 a.m. No update yet so far, but a reminder that you might have to take a detour if you're heading in that direction early today. Look at the temperatures. You can see here we fall even more with winds picking up and snowfall sweeping south into the Mohawk Valley this afternoon. We're going to dive into that hour-by-hour lake effect forecast today, the cold tomorrow, and the latest details on that major winter storm that is making national headlines coming up in a few minutes.
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, local counties are taking
Welcome back. Happy Friday. Quite a busy next few days here across central New York. But for now, we'll try to break it down here in a minute. In your forecast in a minute. First off, current conditions outside. Snow is falling. Roads are getting a bit covered this morning from a sandy-like snow texture here. 19 degrees the temperature, 9 the feels-like temperature. Now, as you look at the roadways this morning, too, in some spots, for example, out near Herkimer and maybe even Sangerfield, roads are generally okay, but in Utica and up north near Barneveld, we got some snow-covered roads to be treated to as you head outside. Nonetheless, that snow band is expected to shift south, but still that fresh snowfall might be impacting the early morning commute early today. That heavy snow will wobble north and south, impacting northern Eddy County, then shifting north again. But there's some uncertainties as to exactly where and when it moves. We know it's going to move south this evening around 5 to 6 p.m., but that wobbling scenario with how intense the snow is could produce some impacts. So that's what happens today. Obviously, following tonight, it's cooling down very, very cold. We'll have those wind chills here shortly. But I do want to touch upon the major news headlines of the storm that's impacting a lot of the U.S. here. It will be impacting us, and the time frame here is mainly Sunday evening and into the overnight hours. So, of course, we'll be diving into that, too, with the path of that system. All the latest data coming in early this morning in a couple of minutes. Gary?
Thanks. And in this upcoming extremely frigid weather, AAA says there are things you can do to try to prevent issues with your vehicle getting through it all. Reporter Miguel Martinez, VA, reports.
Pumping gas and filling tires. Just a few of several errands Dan Brown's running ahead of the weekend storm.
Definitely not going to cut it close. I'm not sure exactly when everything's going to come through, but Got to take care of some things today and some last-minute stuff tomorrow.
AAA adding to the list of things everyone should take care of before the weather hits.
A vehicle emergency kit is one of the best things you can do ahead of time. So that means the basics. We also think about jumper cables, a first aid kit, a flashlight with fresh batteries in it.
But also winter essentials like shovels, extra wiper fluid, something that creates traction like kitty litter to put behind your wheels if you get stuck, a change of clothes, snacks, and a phone charger.
It is always better to have these things and not need them as opposed to needing them and not having them.
AAA is preparing their fleet for a long few days. They'll have all hands on deck with over 130 employees and more than 80 trucks helping people with all kinds of emergencies.
Our busiest time is when the snow stops. Because most people, if it snows, just say it's going to get 6 inches, to stay home, we're slow. It's once the snow stops, that's when everybody goes to start the car. It won't start.
AAA tells me the most common call they get with these storms and the cold weather, dead batteries. So they have these trucks full of batteries. They'll come out and they'll install them. But something you could do at home to prevent your car battery from dying, turning your car on every 2 days, at least 15 minutes. Of course, drivers are hoping the storm passes quick and doesn't result in them staying stuck at home for too long.
I hate moving snow.
Yeah.
You know, I hate being stuck in the house. Just got to go to work. I got to pay bills. You know, I want to be able to function.
Let's hope we all.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Friday morning, everybody. Today we are tracking a few lake effect snow bands, a rarity here in Central New York. I mean, it's not completely impossible, but we look at the radar here, and it's very difficult to get a Lake Erie influence here in the Mohawk Valley. You need some very important things in the upper atmosphere to combine to produce this. Nonetheless, it's producing a light enough snowfall to coat some roadways here across central New York, with also some heavier snow heading up north. But nonetheless, you can see here that light snow moving through the Mohawk Valley, some heavier snow on its way just north of Williamstown, heading towards Boonville and impacting the Lowville area near Turin and the Route 12 corridor early today. This, of course, causing some slowdowns in terms of that light snowfall in the Mohawk Valley. It's not a lot, but it's enough to at least cause some slower travel here. Either way, still no updates yet on the closure here along Route 20 due to a crash and fallen power cables. But just a heads up, if you're heading eastbound toward Albany along Route 20, you might have to find another detour as that closure is still posted. But let's start with that forecast for the temperatures, where you can see here we start out with wind chills in the single digits. We cool down below zero with those wind chills by 3 o'clock. Tonight, I would say by 2 a.m., we're at minus 24 in Utica, minus 34 in Old Forge, and minus 36 Speculator, breaking our scale there, hitting minus 40 or colder in sections of the Adirondacks. As you wake up Saturday, the wind chills still not a whole lot better. Bitterly cold, minus 14 Utica, minus 25 Little Falls, and remaining in the negatives for much of the day Saturday, and then cooling back down again into early Sunday, as Sunday itself is also going to be pretty cold with wind chills below zero when some snowfall works its way in. But either way, with the frigid weather moving in, I know it seems self-explanatory, but this still does happen. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of it. Do not leave your pets outdoors. Look at these wind chills, minus 20 to minus 40 in some spots, lows minus 10 to minus 25. So definitely something that you want to take precautions for. So we have that lake effect moving through today. We're looking at the development here of that low pressure. It's going to slowly shift its way up the coast. You can see here the freezing rain and ice. That's what's making national headlines, as well as, of course, that heavy snow as it collides that cold air here across the region. So in the meantime, how much snow are we talking? Well, let's dive into the path here. So that cold air producing that lake effect, that snow is going to be wobbling north and south. That's the uncertainty here. By 2 p.m., it might be passing through areas north of the New York State Thruway before eventually passing through the Thruway corridor just in time for the evening commute. So watch out for possible travel delays or travel impacts with the lake effect snow this evening. It's quieter Saturday, but it's bitterly cold. Sunshine, wind chills in the negative double digits. Then it remains quiet in the overnight hours into early Sunday. It's not until we enter Sunday afternoon in the late morning, early afternoon, where that snow really moves in, and it continues into the overnight and for much of early Monday. So this is the initial snowfall forecast here. 12 to 18 inches in the pink zone, 8 to 12 in the red. This is still an early call here. There might be some minor shifts, but nonetheless, just a heads up, this will be some pretty decent snowfall for the area and areas south. 7-day forecast, alert days both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday for the cold, Sunday for that snowfall. And it still remains very winter-like for much of next week. It won't be as cold, but it will still be cold enough to at least produce some wind chills near below zero again for much of next week.
Yeah, I think our phones are going to be lit up on Sunday for the closings on Monday.
Yep, that's right.
Wait and see. Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:24. Still once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. Get ready for even more frigid weather than we're seeing right now. Eric is tracking the system for all of us over in the Weather Center. Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning, Gary. Yeah, and I mean, we're talking bitter cold wind chills the next few days. To start right now, it's still already cold. We look at the wind chills across central New York. We're at 5 degrees in Rome. We have 8 in Johnstown and -3 up in Saranac Lake. When it comes to the radar here, we were talking about the fact that we have a Lake Erie influence, a rare influence here in the Mohawk Valley, but nonetheless, it is pushing through the area. It is expected to shift its way south. There is some heavier snowfall along that band heading along Route 20. And of course, that heavier snow impacting areas basically right along the Oneida County, Lewis County line here. So basically, if you are more or less in that section there, up in the Boonville area or in that surrounding region, that snow is really going to be impacting guys the most. That snowfall moving through the Mohawk Valley right now, enough to coat some roadways early today. You can see here Arterial and Barneveld with the Route 12 connection there, also seeing some snow-covered conditions and causing some minor slowdowns early today. So just budget some extra time getting to where you need to go. Still, as a traffic alert for those of you tuning in right now, there is a report of a blocked road along Route 20 due to a crash heading eastbound and westbound, heading out toward the capital region here. This is right near the intersection of Route 145 near Carzile there. So again, just watch out for a potential detour if you're heading in that direction along Route 20. Temperatures are the warmest right now. In fact, this will be the warmest it'll be over the next, I would say next 48 to 36 hours with all the cold we're seeing. So bundle up and expect some lake effect snow this evening. We'll track that and the cold and that coastal storm this weekend. A lot to get through straight ahead. Gary?
So enjoy the warmth this morning.
Yes, enjoy the balmy wind chill of 8 degrees.
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Declaring he won't...
2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Happy Friday. So far, we have some lake effect influencing central New York yet again. This time, though, the Mohawk Valley getting a supply of snow from Lake Erie. Those of you that are just tuning in right now, this is not a very common event here, but it does happen when the right conditions are in place here. And the general trend is pushing a bit farther south, meaning that areas north might also see some influence regarding some of that lake effect snow in northern Oneida County. We'll break down that for you coming up in a few minutes. Now, our photo of the day today brings us to West Winfield. And listen, we have a lot of great photos here, so many of the northern lights. I was looking through them this morning and just I couldn't just not select another one of these Northern Lights photos. I mean, just look at this shot here. Not too often can we just showcase a bunch of Northern Light photos here in central New York. So I figured, why not? Showcase all of your great pictures here. This was sent in by Courtney from West Winfield. And if you have one like this you'd like to share with us, why not? Just send your Northern Lights photos. Send any photo you think that could brighten someone's day to WKTV.com/weather/pics. That photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The two newest soon to
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, happy Friday. Today we are following two snow bands impacting our weather early this morning. A live look at the radar. To start, we have intense snow off of Lake Ontario impacting Tug Hill. That's been a pretty common sight this week with even more snow hitting that area. But we also have some influence here in the Mohawk Valley from Lake Erie. Now it's trending south and east right now, exiting the Utica-Rome area. Enough to coat some roadways. Crews, of course, hard at work this morning, helping clear out some of that fresh, in some cases, surprise snow. We knew the lake effect was coming for Lake Erie, but the northward extent, again, proves how unpredictable some of this lake effect snow can be. And I'll show you what the unpredictability means in terms of impacts later today and a better predictable system later this weekend. So the wind chills right now are as warm as they'll be for the next few days. You wake up this morning, head outside, that's the warmest the temperature will feel between now through the end of Sunday and into Monday. We see those temperatures, or at least wind chills, dip down below zero this afternoon. Overnight tonight, -24 wind chill in Utica, -28 Fultonville, -36 and 34 below zero in Speculator and Old Forge. And then throughout the day, Saturday, negative double digits for pretty much the entire day. Cooling down still in the negatives or even right around zero early Sunday morning, and then dipping down again with some stronger winds. So we're not escaping any of the cold anytime soon for the weekend. And a reminder, with the frigid weather at play here, I know it seems like we're preaching to the choir here, but I always want to clarify this. You want to keep your pets indoors. This stuff still happens, I know, right? But just leave the pets indoors. This is extremely dangerous, of course, not only for us, but any pets that get left outside. So with highs only in single digits and wind chills, -20 to -40, your furry friends, this is something that will not be healthy for them, in fact, very dangerous. So we look at some lake effect today. That's the story. Some colder weather too, but we're also looking at the development of this low pressure right here. It's coming off the Rockies as an area of low pressure. It'll glide along the jet stream and continue to move its way north and east, impacting the southeast with that ice potential that's making the national headlines, of course. And then that snow is going to shift its way north, colliding with that cold air in place and producing some pretty significant snowfall across the northeast. We look here in the Skycast. Well, we'll see how it plays in terms of local impacts. So today, there's that lake effect, as I mentioned. It was expected to be a little bit more farther to the south, but regardless, it will trend south again. But look at this right here. We have some wobbling at play here. We know the lake effect north will be staying north and then shifting south, but there's some uncertainty as to where that wobbling will go. It might impact areas in Oneida County and Herkimer County north of the Thruway, as well as for those of you in Shenango and Otsego County this morning with Lake Erie impact. So don't worry, we're not forgetting about you guys. Either way, that lake effect snow will sweep south for the evening commute. Could cause some tricky travel concerns along the Thruway corridor, setting up in the southern valleys in the late evening and then eventually exiting before we quiet down Saturday with some sunshine and some frigid wind chills and cold temperatures in the negatives. Then Sunday starts out dry, then that snow moves in the late morning, early afternoon, and it persists into the evening and lingering into the overnight, with that snowfall eventually ending with a little bit, with some much less snowfall heading into Monday. So in terms of our initial call for some snowfall, you can see here 12 to 18 inches in pink, 8 to 12 in the areas in red. And of course, that will continue into the early part of Monday. We'll be right back.
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Friday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And it's a weekend many people are anticipating because of the weather.
Yeah, that's right. We have a lot to get through with lake effect, the cold, and that national headline snowstorm that everyone's talking about. Don't worry, we're talking about that here shortly. First, though, as you are waking up, let's try to piece this out to make it less overwhelming, because there's a lot to talk about the next few days, and especially on days like today and tomorrow and Sunday, where we kind of wish we have some quieter weather, but sometimes Mother Nature throws it all at once. So let's start out with the wind chill. We are at a 7-degree wind chill this morning. Those of you seeing these temperatures, this is about as warm as the air will feel for the next, I would say, 48 hours or even more, with the wind chills expected to fall even colder throughout the day today and, of course, throughout the weekend. And we are also tracking not only lake effect snow off of Lake Ontario, but also off of Lake Erie, where you can see this overall banding taking place right now. This produced a good amount of snowfall, at least a light coating in a lot of spots in the Utica Rome area. It is shifting through the thruway corridor into the Little Falls and Herkimer area, and of course heading farther south into Madison County, and some intense snow up north. So again, the roads are a bit snow covered. They are starting to clear up right now. A big shout out to all the crews heading out early this morning to fight a snow that's very hard to predict here with that Lake Erie band. Nonetheless, you can see a few slowdowns, especially as you head out to Route 12, 12B, and 8 south of the Mohawk Valley. And still, again, no update right now, but figure I'll still share at Route 20 as you head eastbound beyond Richfield Springs, eventually heading out toward, pardon my eyesight here, Carsile there. There's a roadblock due to a crash and fallen power cables in both directions. You might have to find a detour if you're heading that way. Still, though, the next 12 hours, we cool down. We see some snow showers this afternoon as that lake band sweeps south. We'll be diving into all of this in a lot more detail coming up in just a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Local counties are...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:13. Happy Friday. We have a lot to get through, and I'll try to break it down as simply as I can here in a forecast in a minute as you head outside early today. A live look at downtown Utica. Roadways improved after that snow worked through earlier this morning. Temperature of 20. Wind chill of 7 degrees. So it's going to continue to cool down throughout the day today. In the meantime, locations that saw that snow maybe about an hour ago, Barneveld, Utica, you got to swap that for Sangerfield and Herkimer now. You got some snow-covered roadways down there. It's not a lot. It's a coating, but enough to maybe budget some extra time getting to where you need to go before the roads that do get eventually cleared out, either for traffic or from some crews working on them right now. But either way, we have some intense snow right along that narrow band passing through sections of Otsego and Shenango County, right along the border there with Madison County there. So nonetheless, this morning, that snow band from Lake Erie will stay on and off in the southern valleys, while that lake effect from Lake Ontario stays in the Tug Hill area in the western Adirondacks. So then after that, it's very cold tomorrow. I'll have the wind chills here shortly, but I'm going to focus more on the travel impacts from the Sunday coastal storm that everyone's talking about. Our biggest, or at least our highest impact timing, will be Sunday afternoon into the early evening and overnight. We'll be, of course, diving into that here as well coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And in the upcoming extremely frigid weather, there are things you can do to try to prevent issues with your vehicle. Reporter Miguel Martinez Vella has more.
Pumping gas and filling tires
Just a few of several errands Dan Brown's running ahead of the weekend storm.
Definitely not going to cut it close because I'm not sure exactly when everything's going to come through, but got to take care of some things today and some last minute stuff tomorrow.
AAA adding to the list of things everyone should take care of before the weather hits.
A vehicle emergency kit is one of the best things you can do ahead of time. So that means the basics. We also think about jumper cables, a first aid kit, a flashlight with fresh batteries in it.
But also winter essentials like shovels, extra wiper fluid, something that creates traction like kitty litter to put behind your wheels if you get stuck, a change of clothes, snacks, and a phone charger.
It is always better to have these things and not need them as opposed to needing them and not having them.
AAA is preparing their fleet for a long few days. They'll have all hands on deck with over 130 employees and more than 80 trucks helping people with all kinds of emergencies.
Our busiest time is when the snow stops. Because most people, if it snows, just say it's going to get 6 inches, you stay home, we're slow. It's once the snow stops, that's when everybody goes to start the car. It won't start.
AAA tells me the most common call they get with these storms and the cold weather, dead batteries. So they have these trucks full of batteries. They'll come out, they'll install them. But something you could do at home to prevent your car battery from dying, turning your car on every 2 days, at least 15 minutes. Of course, drivers are hoping the storm passes quick and doesn't result in them staying stuck at home for too long.
I hate moving snow.
Yeah.
You know, I hate being stuck in the house. Just got to go work. I got to pay bills. You know, I want to be able to function.
And that was Miguel Martinez Villa reporting. The time right now is 6:16. Here's a live look at downtown Utica.
Better prices and local company. It's Wheelock Disposal. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Happy Friday. We have a lot to get through for the next few days with lake effects, some cold Arctic temperatures, and that coastal storm. So let's just jump right into it. We begin with a live look at our Yorkville Battery live radar. We do have that snow from Lake Erie. Yes, Lake Erie. It's not a common thing to have happen here locally, but it is taking place. Shifting through the Mohawk Valley. It's exiting Little Falls, heading through Route 20, now heading towards Sherburne, and eventually Cooperstown in maybe the next 15 to 20 minutes. What will be persistent, though, is some intense lake effect snow impacting the Tug Hill Plateau and the western Adirondacks, including Old Forge and Inlet here. So we got a pretty busy morning out there in terms of lake effect. In terms of wind chill, the warmest temperature we will feel outside the next 48 plus hours will be this morning. This afternoon, wind chills dip below zero. -20 to -30 in the Mohawk Valley. Tomorrow, -30 to -40 in the Adirondacks by Saturday in the early morning hours. And it remains below zero with that wind chill for all of Saturday and through much of Saturday night and into Sunday. So with that cold air at place here, a reminder, bring your pets indoors. Do not leave them outside. Yes, it might seem like a trivial thing, but we want to make sure that all your furry friends are safe. So the bigger picture shows that lake effect still persisting today with that cold air in place. I want to zoom out a little bit because this is where that system that's, again, making national headlines is beginning. It hasn't even really formed yet. It's an area of energy with a trough here in the Rocky Mountains. And it's going to shift its way through the country in the form of some snow to the north and some ice potential right here in the southeast. That's what's making the headlines here. On top of that, it's going to shift its way north, eventually hitting the northeast, colliding with the cold air and producing widespread snowfall. It's not outrageous or completely uncommon for us to see nor'easters here in central New York. We've already seen 70 inches in some spots, so this is just a typical winter time, but enough to cause impacts. So you can see here that lake effect from Lake Erie in the southern valleys, that snow band north wobbling a little bit, likely impacting areas north of the Thruway in the early afternoon before sweeping into the Mohawk Valley through the Thruway corridor by 5-6 p.m., causing potentially tricky travel, and of course that also producing tricky travel in the southern valleys after sunset tonight. Then it's pretty quiet as we head into Saturday before that snowfall really begins to move in, as we head into Sunday. You can see the clouds working in Sunday morning. It's dry for early part of Sunday, and then here you go. Here's that widespread snow working in. Temperatures in the single digits, and that'll continue for much of the evening with that persistent snowfall through 6 p.m. onwards. How much snow are we expecting? Now, this is, don't get alarmed here, this is 12 to 18 inches of snowfall from Sunday afternoon through Monday morning. This will likely not have any high bust potential, just because of all the cold air at place here. Anything personally, with full transparency here, that might cause any lower totals here would be the fact that the air is incredibly cold and incredibly dry. So the flurries might be a bit more sandy compared to fluffy in nature, which causes those snow ratios to be near 20 to 1, meaning that 20 inches of snow equates to 1 inch of water. Regardless, still expect some travel impacts Sunday afternoon through Monday morning, and it still remains wintry and cold through much of next week. We'll be right back.
Once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. We'll get ready. The warm spell, Eric, is right now, right?
Yeah, the warmest we'll be seeing over the next couple of days as you head out early this morning. We look at the wind chills to start your day today. Temperatures on paper in the teens and 20s. Wind chill at 7 degrees in the Mohawk Valley. It's in the negatives up north, and a little warmer as you head farther south toward Binghamton and Poughkeepsie. But regardless, this is about as warm as it'll be as the winds really kick in this afternoon and those wind chills really plummet below zero. We'll look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar. We're closely monitoring 2 lake effect snow bands. One is, of course, Lake Ontario, the usual suspect in terms of heavy snow here locally. But when it comes to the Mohawk Valley, that early morning snowfall driven in by Lake Erie. And we're actually seeing that influence right now. For the most part, we're expecting this snow to mainly shift its way south of the Mohawk Valley. In the southern valleys, a lot of the impact will take place, but just look at that intense snow band slamming the Tug Hill Plateau right now. So again, road conditions improving this morning, but with the way these snow bands are behaving, watch out for sudden whiteouts here today as that snow band moves south, say closer to the afternoon hours between 4 and 6 p.m. Roadways a little snow covered in Herkimer and in Sangerfield, a bit different compared to earlier this morning where it was in the Barneveld and Utica area. But nonetheless, roadways a bit of a few slowdowns, especially heading south of the Mohawk Valley. And still no updates yet, but I do want to clarify it that Route 20 heading out eastbound toward Albany, there is a road closure there due to fallen power cables and due to a crash. So just a heads up for that. This morning, temperatures continue to fall. We're going to see that lake effect sweep south. The wind chills really cooling down. And then the latest on that coastal storm making national headlines, how it impacts us, coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Declaring he won't be...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in this morning, we are tracking some lake effect snow, both of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Lake Erie's band sweeping through the Mohawk Valley, eventually setting up in the southern valleys, and then, of course, Lake Ontario snow band impacting the Tug Hill Plateau and the western Adirondacks. We'll be diving into the forecast for that here coming up in a few minutes. But for now, expect maybe some locations to see some snow-covered roads as you head out to work early today. But a lot of the areas that already saw the snow already cleared up and should be okay to drive. Still, though, we have plenty of photos sent in to us over the last few days, a lot of them with honestly no explanation needed. We're from the Northern Lights, and I was sifting through a lot of the photos we got, and I think just overall, why not? I'll show more of these Northern Lights photos because they were so amazing. Not too often do we see this here in central New York. Look at this shot here sent in by Courtney in West Winfield of the vibrant pillars and the reds and greens. If you have one like this or any winter photo you think could brighten our day, especially after this weekend with that snowfall on Sunday. Maybe send in some snowmen if you want to go out and maybe do some building with that. We'd love to see your creations. Of course, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Your photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Maybe some snow women, too. How's that?
Yes, make sure you have every type of snowman, snow woman, snow child, you name it.
Yeah, Eric, thank you. The two newest soon-to-be members of the
WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, happy Friday. We have a lot to get through when it comes to lake effect, some bitter cold wind chills, and a coastal storm bringing widespread snow Sunday. Let's dive right into it first with the lake effect. We got to experience some of that brief rounds of snow in the Mohawk Valley over the last couple of hours, coating some roadways, surfaces, and of course your vehicles, maybe a coating of snow. This is more of a sandy type consistency with how cold the temperatures are this morning. So, but nonetheless, that band is moving its way eastward through St. Johnsville, eventually approaching Cooperstown and central Otsego County, Sherburne and Norwich in that next round there. We look north where the much more impactful snow is falling. This is, of course, impacting Tug Hill and some areas in the northernmost sections of Oneida County. That's what we'll be expecting that snow to stay for much of the day today, but it will sweep south as we head into the afternoon. We'll show that here shortly. Our second main thing, the wind chills. This is about as warm as it'll be the next few days. Those wind chills plummet as we head into the evening hours, below zero by 3 o'clock. Negative double digits, in fact, minus 20 to minus 30 across the Mohawk Valley in the overnight into early Saturday morning. Minus 30 to minus 40 in the Adirondacks by 6 a.m. to start your day Saturday. So bitter cold wind chills are expected, remaining below zero for pretty much all of Saturday, falling below zero again Saturday night into Sunday, and then still bitter cold throughout the day Sunday as well. So we are definitely locked in for a very Arctic weekend. So while we're still tracking some lake effect snow today, I want to zoom out a little bit because what's making headlines, maybe you've seen it on any national news, any websites, social media, here's what's going on. We got low pressure coming off the Rocky Mountains. This is typically where a lot of nor'easters form. The issue is we got that cold air dipping so far south, it's producing an ice or mixing line in the southeast, which is why the southeast is really concerned about this system. We're not going to see any mixing here. Of course, that Arctic air providing us with bitter cold temperatures, but it's also providing us with a lack of any concern when it comes to ice. But it will be producing widespread snow as we head into Sunday as it collides with that cold air present here locally. So we zoom in here on the Skycast. Today, that lake band you're mentioning, it wobbled a little bit more north than expected, but it will be shifting south again. Then we're expecting these lake bands, mainly the strong one of Lake Ontario, to stay north. Lake Erie's band to impact parts of the southern valleys here. That band will wobble, potentially providing some snow showers areas north of the New York State Thruway before eventually moving through the Thruway corridor itself by the evening commute time. So just watch out for some travel impacts. Same thing for those of you in the southern valleys as that snow band hits the Shenango, Otsego County area this evening after sunset. Then Saturday, it's pretty quiet. We got some sunshine, some lingering clouds south, and of course those bitter cold temperatures. The clouds will increase Sunday. It's a pretty quiet start, and then that widespread snow kicks in the late morning, early afternoon, and it persists for much of the evening and overnight. And yes, these are some big numbers here, but just as a heads up, this is our early call for snowfall. There might be some minor changes, but it's very difficult, at least personally, to see anything in the form of a bust with this system, with how cold it is and with how consistent that snowfall looks to be. Any bust potential, I think, could be due to the fact that the snow might become a bit more sandy instead of fluffy. But with snowfall ratios of 20 to 1, it means that if 1 inch of rain or liquid equivalent falls, it means 20 inches of snow. So it doesn't need a whole lot to produce a good amount of fluffy snow on the ground. But I think the key here is it's fluffy snow. It's not wet and heavy.
And wobble, baby, wobble, right?
Yes, today we got to watch out for those bands.
You never know.
Yep.
Eric, thanks. Well, this time of year when we are cranking the heat and sealing the windows, carbon monoxide can be...
News with Steve McMurray.
A good Friday afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve McMurray in for Gary this noontime.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we are talking about the weather. And it's going to be a very busy weekend here with a myriad of issues going on. So I'm going to turn it right over to you and just get right in. New York State's under a state of emergency. We'll explain that coming up in a few minutes. But that just gives you an indication of what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, first off, we have lake effect today. We have bitter cold temperatures tomorrow. We're tracking some snowfall on Sunday. That's a general idea. First off, let's go into what's going on right now. I mentioned this morning would be the warmest the temperature would feel for the next several days, and we're already down to a wind chill of 2 degrees at Rome, -1 Watertown. Expect these to continue to fall. Notice out in Rochester it's 7 below, 9 below in Buffalo. We have some quieter conditions here in the Mohawk Valley. We look at the Yorkville Battery live radar here. We have some snow, heavy snow from Lake Ontario hitting the Tug Hill Plateau, I-81 there near Pulaski. And then as that system shifts its way south, we're going to see that snow band impacting the Mohawk Valley. This is going to wobble a little bit. So areas north of the New York State Thruway might see a band or two of snow in the mid-afternoon. Those of you in the southern valley, especially out near Oneonta, already seeing a few snow showers too. A live look at Oneonta, temperature again on paper in the 20s or teens, but again wind chills are continuing to fall. You can see here going into the teens, single digits below zero. Wind chills will be double digits below zero tonight, and even colder in the Adirondacks. We'll be diving into that cold spell, the wind chills throughout the entire weekend, and of course, most importantly too, there's some talk of some significant snow as we head into Sunday into Monday. We'll be diving into that here as well. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. Governor Hochul says all state government employees can work from home Monday in anticipation.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Quite a busy next few days we'll be looking at in terms of weather. Let's just dive right into it. Let's first take a look at the radar and satellite. Some pretty intense lake effect snow slamming the Tug Hill Plateau and providing some snow showers from Lake Erie as we head down into the southern valleys. Now, you can see a cold front here. This is the Arctic front. It's currently up near Ottawa right now, and it's on its way here shortly. Now, we see the radar scans right now. That snowfall, pretty heavy, heading up toward sections of Oswego, Jefferson, and Lewis counties. There's going to be some wobbling taking place. This might produce some snowfall in areas north of the Thruway in Oneida and Herkimer counties before it eventually passes over the Thruway just in time for the evening commute today. So we'll, of course, talk a bit more about the snowfall here in a minute. I do want to focus a lot more on, of course, the wind chills. This is the big story this weekend here. We have seen plenty of snow over much of the season so far, but in terms of true cold, this is the first time in quite a while. Yes, we saw below zero wind chills, but we haven't seen -20 to -30 below wind chills in the Mohawk Valley all season long. This is an uncommon scenario, not impossible. It is wintertime, obviously, so we do get cold, but either way, this cold weather continues onward. Below zero wind chills pretty much all weekend long. They'll hover around -5 to -15 to -25, fluctuating based off of the winds. Regardless, it's going to be extremely cold. On top of that, there's been some buzz on pretty much every major news outlet, social media, you name it, about a major snowstorm impacting the U.S. And to be fair, I think for a lot of the nation, the hype is warranted. This is going to bring a lot of ice and snowfall to areas that don't usually see it, and it's pretty large. However, when it hits our area, it looks like a pretty typical snowstorm that we see here in the wintertime. Yes, it's going to be a good amount of snow. Some spots seeing around a foot or more of accumulation. But needless to say, I think still the cold, the bigger issue here throughout the weekend. So you can see the snowfall is wobbling here and there. It passes into the Mohawk Valley this evening. Lingering snow showers in the southern valleys after sunset, and then drying up as we head into Saturday with sunshine and bitter cold wind chills. Saturday night also looking dry. In fact, much of the weekend is dry until around the late morning and early afternoon Sunday. That's when that widespread snow works in, temperatures in the single digits, and then that snow will continue through the evening and overnight. In terms of timing, the heaviest of the snow will take place in the evening Sunday. There will still be some lingering snow overnight into early Monday, but generally speaking, this is a good old-fashioned nor'easter here in central New York. 12 to 18 inches expected across the region from heading up north to in the southern valleys, and then eventually some lingering lake effect in the middle of next week. But nonetheless, both Saturday and Sunday are Storm Tracker 2 alert days. Saturday for the cold and Sunday for that impactful snow. So just plan accordingly. I wouldn't say it's time to scramble for the bread and milk, but I do recommend just having some extra supplies, filling up your gas tank, make sure you have generators. This is a fluffy snow. This is not going to cause outages like a late season nor'easter, but it's still a lot of snow. You might not be able to leave if your road isn't plowed for a little bit. So.
Yeah, just better to be safe than sorry.
Yes.
If you don't have to go out Sunday night, don't. You know, the plow drivers have a difficult enough task as it is.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't need you out on the roads just, you know, killing time. So if you don't have to go out on Sunday night, don't. Good football on, too, so.
Yeah, true. Great football on.
All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, it's not just here, as Eric was mentioning, a massive winter weather system set to send temperatures plummeting and create dangerous snow and ice storms, with officials in the Carolinas and Texas already declaring states of emergency. NBC's Ryan Chandler has more from Dallas with what to expect from this massive Arctic blast.
Good morning. This is expected to be a very serious winter storm set to impact more than 100 million people and is causing real concern here in the South. This is the kind of freezing weather we just don't see often, and people across the South, including here in Dallas, even down to Houston, are scrambling to prepare for it. The two main concerns that officials are warning everybody to get ready for: dangerous roads and potential power outages. We've seen brine trucks here in the DFW area getting ready to salt the highways, make sure that the roads are as safe as possible, but officials are warning they're just not going to be as safe as they can be, urging everybody to stay home and wait for the ice to thaw. Here in Texas, there is special concern about power outages. After 5 years ago, millions lost power, leading to people dying from exposure. But the grid operator here says that they do not expect to have any grid-wide concerns. They've made the grid stronger in the last 5 years, but there still could be localized outages when that freezing rain takes down power lines and trees. So the bottom line from officials up and down the state and across the South is this. This is a serious storm, but the way to prepare for it is simple. Get out now, get all the supplies you need, and stay home, stay warm until we wait for this ice to thaw. In Dallas, I'm Ryan Chandler. Back to you.
Other news for right now: colorectal cancer is now the... And good afternoon. Thank you for joining us once again. I'm Steve McMurray, in for Gary this noon hour.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And everybody's talking about the weather and, you know, mix a little bit of everything, you know, as far as precipitation, but cold is the story right now.
Yeah, and what might seem like common sense, we always want to stress this time of year, especially when we have some Arctic temperatures coming in right here with the frigid weather moving in. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure your furry friends are indoors. Do not leave them outside tonight. This is dangerous weather for them, with wind chills of -20 to -40. Anything, of course, regarding the cold weather, the frostbite concerns, you name it. Just make sure that anything animal-wise that you have as pets, leave them inside throughout the weekend. And we're already seeing wind chills near or below zero right now here locally, even more so as you head out to western New York, and that cold is headed in our direction. On top of that, we're not out of the woods with snowfall too. We have quieter weather right now in the Mohawk Valley. We do have some intense snowfall north, which will be wobbling over the next few hours.
And good afternoon. Thank you for joining us once again. I'm Steve McMurray, in for Gary this noon hour.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And everybody's talking about the weather and, mix a little bit of everything, as far as precipitation, but cold is the story right now.
Yeah, and what might seem like common sense, we always want to stress this time of year, especially when we have some Arctic temperatures coming in right here with the frigid weather moving in. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure your furry friends are indoors. Do not leave them outside tonight. This is dangerous weather for them with wind chills of -20 to -40. Anything, of course, regarding the cold weather, the frostbite concerns, you name it. Just make sure that anything animal-wise that you have as pets, leave them inside throughout the weekend. And we're already seeing wind chills near or below zero right now here locally, even more so as you head out to western New York, and that cold is headed in our direction. On top of that, we're not out of the woods with snowfall too. We have quieter weather right now in the Mohawk Valley. We do have some intense snowfall north, which will be wobbling over the next few hours. I would say between 2 and 4 p.m., it's going to wobble into central Natick County, still mainly north of the Thruway, before it finally passes into the Thruway corridor between 5 and 6 p.m. In the meantime, those of you in the Southern Valley seeing your fair share of some lingering snow showers, but that's really about it in terms of snowfall right now. You can see here a live look in Oneonta, some snow at the distance, quieting down a little bit, but nonetheless, after the warm start today, relatively, if you call it that, we begin the cool down, and it is in full force tonight with some bitter Arctic wind chills. We'll be diving into that, as well as taking a look at that snowfall forecast and the latest on that coastal storm on Sunday straight ahead. Steve?
Eric, thanks. How cold's it going to get? Cold.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. After some early morning snow showers, I mean early morning, we're talking before sunrise, that snow has exited a little bit, but for some of you the snow has persisted, mainly the southern valleys, and especially for those of you in the Tug Hill Plateau and areas in the western and southwestern portions of the Adirondacks in the Old Forge Inlet area, which are still seeing a good amount of snowfall right now. We zoom in on the radar. As you can see here, we have some quieter conditions right now here locally, but some heavier snow in the Tug Hill area. That band is going to wobble a little bit and then shift south. I'll show that here in our Skycast in a moment. But I want to focus a lot on the wind chills. Today, we are seeing near zero. Tonight, below zero, especially toward the evening commute. We're at -5 to -10, quickly falling to -20 to -30 early Saturday morning. It is a bitter cold start to the day Saturday, and then, of course, -30 to -40 degree wind chills in sections of the Adirondacks. So a very, very cold overnight expected. And a very cold Saturday. Our wind chills barely even get above 0 degrees Saturday before falling right back down again into the negative double digits early Sunday morning. Now, the one plus side is as we head into Sunday evening, when we're tracking the arrival of widespread snow, the winds will be weakening. So it will not likely be a blizzard type scenario. Plus, I'll talk.
Winter storm warning in effect from 7 a.m. Sunday to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday. What? Heavy snow expected. Total snow accumulations between 12 and 18 inches. Where? All of eastern New York and western New England. When? from 7 a.m. Sunday to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday. Impacts. Travel will be very dangerous, especially Sunday night due to snow-covered roadways and low visibility. Additional details. An impactful long-duration winter storm is expected Sunday into Monday. Snowfall rates may exceed 1 inch per hour at times, especially Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. Light snow will linger through much of the day on Monday. The highest snowfall amounts are expected across the eastern Catskills, mid-Hudson Valley, and southwestern New England. If you must travel, keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in your vehicle in case of an emergency.
And this is our initial call. So far, no major changes. I'd be very shocked to see us bust with anything less than 8 inches of snowfall with how the path the system is forming. There's not really any uncertainty as to any mixing taking place. It's still very cold, and the fact that it's going to be pretty steady in terms of snowfall. So any updates we'll have this evening, throughout the weekend, but regardless, impacts are still there. Bitter cold temperatures Saturday, and that snowfall on Sunday.
Yeah, and again, even if you were to get 8 inches of snow, I mean, that's significant. So.
Yeah, I was joking. You know, 8 to 12 inches, if you're snow blowing, at what point, yeah, it's still a lot of snow.
Yeah, exactly. So just, bear down, and we'll get through it. And if you don't have to be on the road, especially Sunday night, don't. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, a 100-year-old...
News with Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
Between now and Tuesday morning, weather is going to be the top story. To start, we've got freezing cold and dangerous temperatures.
Yeah, we are under a state of emergency. And while the heavy snow that we've been talking about isn't coming until Sunday, we are dealing with snow squalls tonight. Take a look at Route 12 in Boonville. This was within the last half hour. David Botsford taking this picture for us. He says it was just beyond Dean Road. We have Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis tracking from the Weather Center everything we can expect starting now.
Yes, the big concern, the squalls moving in. Winds are changing direction, and this band of lake effect snow, which has been dumping feet of snow in the Tug Hill, is heading south. This is not dropping, this is not going to provide heavy accumulation, but it will provide some whiteout conditions. In fact, as we take a look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, the band is to the north and it's heading south. This is being accompanied by wind gusts between 40 to 50 miles an hour. So whiteout conditions are expected. Again, this band will be moving into the Mohawk Valley over the next hour, the next 1 to 2 hours. And when it does come in, it's going to come in quickly. So whiteouts are going to happen in a very short period of time. We're expecting a general 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. So not a lot, but it does have a high impact as it rolls through. Again, it's the wind out there. In places that it's not even snowing, we're getting blowing and drifting snow and local whiteout conditions. Again, that's going to continue this evening. The winds will subside, then we get the cold weather to start the weekend. Wind chills 20 to 40 below. And that's before everything arrives on Sunday. We are tracking heavy accumulation Sunday. The forecast hasn't changed since yesterday. We're still thinking 12 to 18 inches of snow across most areas, 8 to 12 inches of snow across the North Country. Current temperature 13 degrees. It's going to remain bone chilling tonight. Temperatures are going to continue to plummet. We'll be well below zero by Saturday morning. Again, tracking Sunday's weather, when the snow arrives, and the worst time to be on the road. Now we'll look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. And as a reminder, there are several locations that will open as warming centers starting tonight.
The dangerous combination of extreme cold and heavy snow has the governor already declaring a state of emergency throughout the entire state. This allows the state to coordinate with local governments and deploy resources quickly. All non-essential state employees are told to work from home Monday, if possible. The governor is asking people to plan ahead, refill your prescriptions, and stock up on food now.
Keep an eye on all your forecasts. As I'm telling you today, they are changing. Follow all travel advisories and warnings from your local governments, and stock up. We don't want to run on groceries, but you do not want to be that parent who ran out of peanut butter on Sunday night and have to go out into the bitter cold to buy it. Water, baby food, pet food.
When the snow hits, the state DOT will be ready with 1,600 large plows, 149 medium-sized plows, and 114,000 tons of salt on hand.
Bill Battle, you came to us for answers about why your utility bills are so high, and we are working to find that out. News Channel 2's Ben Kinney looked into what's driving the increase and what lawmakers are doing to provide some relief. Ben, good evening.
Kristen, good evening. We put out a call on our Facebook last week to see how many people in our area were receiving these high electricity and gas bills. The response was overwhelming. More than 500 emails coming from all corners of the state, not just here in the Mohawk Valley, and they all wanted one thing: answers. We're going to be drowning because of this. I have to choose between having heat and electricity or feeding my children and buying my disabled son diapers. These are just some of the hundreds of responses our newsroom received about exceedingly high electric bills. Gina Kirpiak is one of them. Since November, her electric bills have risen far above what they normally are.
So normal for me is around $900 a month. But the last few months, they've been $1,600, $1,500, and this month it was like $2,062.
In Herkimer, Keith Rubino is having the same issue.
As soon as the cold started happening, the bills became sky high. And by sky high, I mean way more than they were even a year ago at the same time with the same cold weather.
For some, that increase is well above the $14.32 increase approved by the State Public Service Commission back in August. So we asked National Grid, what's causing the increase?
You know, when you take cold weather, high energy prices, and high energy usage, that is a mix for a high bill, and that's really on the level. That is what we're seeing when we go back and review bills.
One thing frequently pointed out, high delivery charges. National Grid and NYSEG both purchase their electricity from suppliers, such as Brookfield Renewable, Constellation, and NRG. While delivery rates are set and approved by the PSC, the charges from suppliers aren't regulated and act in a simple supply and demand style. For example, as the demand for oranges increases, orange suppliers raise the price from $1 to $1.50. The store that sells the oranges makes a profit with a 15-cent cost. Normally, the orange would cost $1.15, but because demand is higher, it's now $1.65. Leaders at the state level want to see things change as well.
We want to see the Public Service Commission reconvene and revisit and re-examine the rate hikes that they have authorized and approved.
Now, coming up at 6, we'll tell you how Senator Griffo and other local leaders are planning to combat these high electric bills and bring some much-needed relief to New York homeowners. Jason, Kristen?
All right, Ben, thank you. And we do have even more in-depth coverage at WKTV.com. There you're going to find a statement we just received from a NYSEG spokesperson. You'll also see the by-the-numbers breakdown of operating expenses and revenue for National Grid and NYSEG. Find out how much money they're making and what the State Public Service Commission is now saying about these high bills that we are all getting.
The superintendent of public works for the village of Lowville is facing weapons charges.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. We are tracking snow squalls that are dropping in from the north, and the very windy conditions that are out there this evening will create whiteout conditions and tricky travel. We don't expect a lot of accumulation, but it's that fluffy snow that's going to be prone to blowing and drifting. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. We're looking in the direction where those snow squalls, kind of the tail end of some of those lake effect clouds. The snow is falling heavier to the north. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, and I want to show you how things have been trending over the last hour. Notice this shift in the lake effect band right here. Notice how it kind of drops south. We've got westerly wind direction, a westerly wind in place in central New York, and the winds are shifting into the north, and that's what's creating this bend in the band. And what that means is it's heading south and it will be impacting the Mohawk Valley. And this snow, again, is accompanied by wind and whiteout conditions. So travel impacts are going to be pretty high over the next 2 to 3 hours across the Mohawk Valley. Let's talk about Sunday. Sunday morning, the weather looks fairly quiet. We have some snow that will be rolling in during the morning time. For most of us, the start time will be between 10 to 11 a.m. It does not come in heavy like what we're going to be experiencing this evening. It's going to be a gradual pickup in intensity. It really doesn't pick up until the mid to late afternoon. And it's not until Sunday evening that travel becomes really, really, really difficult. The worst of this is going to be Sunday evening into Sunday night, and then things will start to lighten up here for Monday. Reminder, we've got some very cold weather expected as we head into Saturday. Wind chills will be 20 to 40 below zero in the morning. You're going to keep your pets indoors for sure, and also limit your time outside. Here's a look at the wind chill throughout the day. It's going to stay well below zero. Temperatures in the single digits. Again, just a frigid Saturday here in central New York. This Arctic blast is rolling in. Again, that band of lake effect snow will be dropping south. And again, blanketing all of central New York with about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation before coming to an end. And again, that snow will be heading to the south and west this evening. The cold weather really starts to settle in tonight. We expect clear skies by Saturday morning, but it's frigid. Sunny afternoon. Temperatures will be bone-chilling cold throughout the whole day. Highs only in the low single digits. Some places may not even climb to zero, especially up north. It's cold Saturday night, and then the snow starts to break out on Sunday. Again, it starts out dry Sunday morning, 8 a.m., cloudy skies, temperatures in the single digits. Snow breaks out from south to north, and look at these temperatures throughout the day. Yes, it's going to be a cold snow, and the snow is going to look a little bit different. It's going to be very small, almost sugar-like here throughout the day, but it will pile up as we get into the evening and become heavier heading into Sunday night. The general idea here is 12 to 18 inches of accumulation across the Mohawk and Southern valleys, 8 to 12 inches for the North Country. Again, expect a very slippery Sunday night and Monday morning commute. Tonight, 14 below zero, windy, snow showers. Tomorrow, sunshine, frigid, 6 degrees. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Again, looking at widespread heavy snow Sunday evening, Sunday night. The weather next week looks cold. I'm not seeing any big storms here. This is back to the usual clippers and lake effect snow, but the cold weather is going to be sticking around.
All right, Bill, thank you.
Around America, more than 170 million people are already under some...
The radar this evening, we are noticing this band of snow dropping south, and it is creating whiteout conditions where the snow is happening in Boonville. We've seen wind gusts as high as 54 miles an hour this afternoon at Griffiths and Rome, and we've got snow that's moving in. And even though we're not expecting a lot of accumulation with this, it is going to create very poor visibility as it moves in. I think it's going to be in the Mohawk Valley within the hour. It's been taking its time, but there's a noticeable shift in the wind direction, and again, that snow is on the way. In addition to this, we're also tracking very cold conditions for Saturday morning. It's already cold out there now. Wind chills are below zero. We're expecting the wind chills to bottom out between 20 to 40 below zero Saturday morning. And again, this is all before what happens on Sunday. We're watching this coastal system that brings heavy snow to central New York. We're thinking totals will be somewhere between 12 to 18 inches of accumulation between Sunday and Monday. Again, the worst of this looks to be Sunday evening and Sunday night. And again, a heavy accumulation here by Monday morning. We're tracking conditions. We're expecting the roads to be very, very slippery here as we head into the day on Sunday. In fact, as we take a look at our travel impacts here, again, the worst of this is going to be later in the day. For those of you that have plans Sunday morning, the snow really isn't all that bad. I know a lot of folks are wondering, when is this going to start? Well, it will be Sunday morning, but unlike what we're dealing with today, this is not going to come in fast and furious. It's going to be a very slow, gradual build. So even the first several hours of this storm really won't be all that bad. It's not until later in the day where the snow picks up and it becomes heavier. And again, I'm really emphasizing Sunday evening and Sunday night as in terms of the worst driving conditions here in central New York. By Monday morning, it's really just about the cleanup. We do have light snow around, but again, for our what we're used to, it really won't be too bad here Monday morning, especially as we go throughout the day. Snow is generally light. We'll just have to dig out. It is going to be very, very cold here throughout this storm. Temperatures will be in the single digits, so shoveling, snow blowing will be challenging. The winds will also be picking up, although it won't be as bad as what we're dealing with out there tonight. We've got to look at the latest radar. We'll continue to track that band of heavy snow as it drops in tonight. We'll also look at, again, that snowfall forecast for the weekend coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. A local town is prepping a brand new outdoor skating rink for a winter festival. But first,
Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about here. First of all, we've got whiteout conditions happening north of the Mohawk Valley with lake effect that is dropping south. There's a lot of wind out there. This picture comes from Debbie. This was in Lee about an hour and a half ago. And this is the culprit. It's a band of lake effect snow that's moving south. This push of Arctic air is creating a change in the wind direction, and this band is going to move across the Mohawk Valley as we get into this evening and tonight. It doesn't produce a lot of snow. For most of us, it's only 1 to 3 inches of accumulation, but comes in pretty quickly, and it's accompanied by all this wind. We had a wind gust of 54 miles an hour at Griffiths and Rome at a little after 2 o'clock this afternoon. Wind gusts, the latest 41 miles an hour, and that's creating all the blowing and drifting of the snow that is out there. And again, this is also pushing in some very, very cold weather. Wind chills tomorrow morning, 20 to 40 below zero. It's very, very cold Saturday morning. And at that point, it's dangerously cold. You've got to layer up and limit your time outdoors. The worst of this is Saturday. It's still cold heading into Sunday, just not quite as cold as Saturday. We're dealing with the snow Sunday. The snow comes in the morning time. It's going to last for the majority of the day. Heaviest looks to be later in the day with totals between 12 to 18 inches of accumulation across a good portion of central New York. And again, it does look like it'll be a little bit lighter north, but not much of a difference here. And again, this will continue into Monday morning before things will gradually improve. Our current temperature is very cold. We're already 13 degrees. The Arctic air is on the way. It feels like 7 below zero, and temperatures will continue to fall throughout this evening. We'll be well below zero Saturday morning. Again, we're tracking those cold temperatures and the additional snow. Look at the forecast is coming up. Jason, back to you.
all right, Bill, thank you. Lucky Dog Bistro in Clinton.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. We are tracking a band of snow that's dropping in from the north, and it is expected to bring a burst of snowfall and poor visibility. Let's take a live look in downtown Utica, and we've turned the camera to the west. You can see in the distance lake effect clouds, and this is the beginning of a band of heavy snow. It is creating whiteout conditions, and it's been creating all kinds of hazardous travel to the north. You're getting whiteout reports from Boonville, Lee, Turin. This band, even though it doesn't look super impressive on the radar, is being accompanied by a lot of wind. Wind gusts between about 50 to 55 miles an hour is blowing all of this snow everywhere. And it's that light, fluffy snow, so it's pretty easy to move. This snow is dropping south. In fact, I want to show you how things have progressed in the past hour. There's a change in the wind direction. It's been generally west throughout most of the day, but now the winds are coming in from the northwest, and it's starting to push this band south. And so what we're expecting to happen very shortly, really within the next hour, is this band drops into Oneida County, and drops into the Mohawk Valley, and then it settles in for tonight. It will gradually weaken, and the other thing is it will weaken for a couple of reasons. Number one, the air is getting drier and colder. It's really the dry air that kind of weakens the band, but also it just, the wind direction from the northwest just spends less time over Lake Ontario. We call this fetch, how much time the wind spends over the lake. A northwest wind spends less time compared to a west wind because Lake Ontario is a lot wider. So we will see that lake effect band weaken somewhat, but it still have a pretty big impact on travel across central New York. Let's talk about Sunday. Sunday morning, the snow develops. Conditions are expected to be okay. So if you're heading out to church services Sunday morning, I'm not expecting any big problems, although it will start to snow. This is going to be one of those scenarios where the snow just takes a while to really pick up throughout the day. So light snow in the morning, it does become steadier, but it'll take several hours before it starts to cause big issues. It's not until Sunday evening that it's going to be really problematic. That'll be the worst of it, and into early Sunday night. And then by Monday, the snow will be a lot lighter, but it continues throughout a good portion of Monday with a general 12 to 18 inches of accumulation in that 24-hour period. A reminder, it's going to be very cold here Saturday morning. The wind chills will be 20 to 40 below zero. Air temperatures 10 to 20 below zero. Keep your pets indoors. Make sure that they're not outside without supervision. And again, take breaks yourself. If you do have to go out and work, make sure you're taking breaks and layering up. because again, this is something that we're not just dealing with in the morning, we're dealing with this all day Saturday. The temperature in the low single digits, the wind chill remains below zero throughout the entire afternoon. It doesn't get much warmer for Sunday, but it gets a little bit better. But again, we're also dealing with the snow here Sunday. Clinton, 11 degrees, West Leyden 8, Barneville 9, 6 in Inlet, already 0 in Old Forge, Curtis 9, Skinevus 14, Westford Dave with 10. Again, this Arctic air continues to drop in from the north. Lake effect snow will head to the south and west as we head into tonight. Skies will clear out. It's going to allow for temperatures to drop well below zero, about 10 to 20 below zero tomorrow morning. Sunshine is expected Saturday, some lake clouds to the south and west. It's a pretty quiet afternoon. So if you do have to run errands, again, it's just a very, very cold day. Now, Sunday, the start time of the snow begins between about 10 to 11 a.m. for most of central New York. By 1 p.m., it's a steady, widespread snow. Again, it continues to ramp up throughout the day. Look at the temperatures, though. We're going to be in the single digits, so this snow is going to look a little bit different. It's going to have more of a sugary texture to it compared to what we're used to, but it still piles up. We're thinking about 12 to 18 inches of accumulation by Monday morning, 8 to 12 inches across the North Country. Tonight, windy, snow showers down to 14 below zero. Tomorrow, a very frigid day. Temperatures only in the single digits. Again, the wind chill stays sub-zero throughout the entire day. Not much warmer on Sunday, but dealing with snow throughout most of the afternoon, and it becomes heavier into the evening. Heavy snow Sunday night into early Monday, and then that will gradually wind down. And it looks cold throughout the rest of next week with lake effect snow chances Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back. Going on first, it's this squall that's dropping in from the north. We've been getting very heavy snow to the north today, and there's whiteout conditions with very strong winds associated with this. We're not expecting a lot of snow from this as it's on the move, a general 1 to 3 inches of accumulation, but it comes down hard and heavy, and it's accompanied by strong wind. We had a 54-mile-an-hour wind gust at Griffiths and Rome today, and it's creating, again, hazardous conditions and whiteouts where it is snowing hard to the north of the Mohawk Valley. Latest wind gust at Griffiths and Rome, 33 miles an hour. This is all bringing in some Arctic air, and it's looking very, very cold Saturday morning. The wind chills 20 to 40 below zero, air temperatures 10 to 20 below. This remains very cold throughout Saturday. We're also tracking snow. Looking at widespread snow, a coastal storm produces a general 12 to 18 inches of accumulation. We haven't changed the forecast at all since yesterday when we first put this out. We think that the start time will be Sunday morning, and the worst of it will be Sunday evening and Sunday night. It's 11 degrees. It feels like 8 below zero already with that west wind at 21 miles an hour. Temperatures will continue to fall this evening. Again, watch out for whiteouts as these snow squalls drop in from the north. Again, we're tracking frigid conditions Saturday, and we break down the start time of that snow on Sunday. Look at the forecast that's coming out. Kristen, back to you.
And a reminder, there are several locations, Oneida County office building being one of them. We have the full list at WKTV.com.
The dangerous combination of extreme cold and heavy snow has the governor already declaring a state of emergency throughout the entire state. This allows the state to coordinate with local governments and deploy resources quickly. All non-essential state employees are told to work from home Monday if possible. The governor is also recommending you refill your prescriptions, stock up on food today and before tomorrow. Also, before the snow hits Sunday.
This is an event we can get through, but once the main storm and the extreme cold leaves us Monday or Tuesday, anticipate another week of really cold temperatures, not as severe as this weekend, but we're not going to be out of this for a while. So hunker down, change your habits, try to minimize your time outside.
When the snow hits, the state DOT will be ready with 1,600 large plows, 149 medium-sized plows, and 114,000 tons of salt on hand. Other news now, the superintendent of public works for the village of Lowville is facing weapons charges. State police tell us Paul Denise brought a handgun into the
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. We are keeping an eye on a band of heavy snow dropping in from the north. The wind is creating whiteout conditions, even though this doesn't produce a whole lot of accumulation across the area as it's on the move. It is creating hazardous driving conditions. Again, this is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, and the snow is coming down hard across the northern half of Oneida County. Again, whiteout conditions with wind gusts between 40 to 50 miles an hour, blowing the snow all over the place. The band of snow is on the move. In fact, as we watch how things progress, you can see that this band of snow is starting to drop south. That's because the wind direction is coming in from the northwest as opposed to the west where it's been most of today. And with this wind shift comes a secondary push of Arctic air. Now, this band of snow brings a quick burst of accumulation. Again, for most of us, it's just an inch or two of accumulation, but that wind is going to make things far worse, making whiteout conditions. Timing of the snow on Sunday, it looks to be about 9 to 10 a.m. For the southern valleys. The snow picks up in the Mohawk Valley between 10 to 11 a.m. This is for Sunday. And then the North Country, the snow begins between 11 a.m. and noon. It's not until the afternoon that travel starts to become a concern, especially in the mid to late afternoon. The snow picks up. It's going to take time. The snow starts very, very light, and then it picks up throughout the day. The worst of this looks to be Sunday evening, Sunday night. By Monday morning, it's still snowing, but the rates are much lower, and it should be a lot easier to get around once you get a chance to dig out. Frigid conditions Saturday morning, wind chills 20 to 40 below zero. A reminder to keep your pets indoors or make sure that they're supervised if they are going outside for brief periods of time. It stays cold all day Saturday. Temperatures in the single digits, wind chills remain below zero. That Arctic air is starting to work in tonight. Single digits to the north already from our sky watchers. West Leyden 8, already down to 0 in Bill's backyard in Old Forge. Curtis 9, across Southern Valleys 10 degrees in Westford. Again, we're watching that lake effect snow dropping in tonight. Again, a quick burst of snow and again, a drop in visibility for a short period of time. Again, most of us pick up an inch or two of accumulation. Tomorrow, it's a frigid day. The sun is out. We're below zero in the morning. We barely climb above zero in the afternoon. We'll fall below zero Saturday night. Clouds sticking up throughout Saturday night into Sunday. We start out dry at 8 a.m. So if you're heading out to church service, things should be okay in the morning. Things start to deteriorate in the afternoon as the snow begins to move through central New York. Look at the temperatures here. We're in the single digits when a lot of this happens. So the snow is going to look a little bit different. It's going to be smaller. It's going to look like sugar compared to what we're used to seeing, but it will still pile up. We're still thinking a general 12 to 18 inches of accumulation for most of central New York, 8 to 12 inches to the north, slightly farther away from the storm track. But again, plenty of snow to shovel and again, dig out of as we head into Monday morning. Of course, it's going to be very cold when you're cleaning off the driveway and the sidewalks, so keep that in mind. 14 below zero tonight, windy, snow showers. Again, watch out for poor visibility in spots. A frigid day tomorrow, temperature of 6. Again, that's the air temperature. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Snow Sunday and into Monday. The weather remains cold next week. I'm not seeing any big storms on the horizon. We get back to our usual clippers coming in from the west, which would bring some lake effect snow. And what snow happens will be sticking around. We are very cold throughout the week. Temperatures usually in the 20s this time of the year. We're in the teens all week.
All right, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, he's the most underpaid.
What's going to happen this weekend? We're in alert mode, and the numbers behind you tell a big story.
Yeah, it's just brutal to be outside tonight. We're looking at wind chills already 14 below zero. It's just going to continue to plummet here as we head into tonight. So stay warm, throw an extra log on the fire. We're expecting the temperature to drop, the air temperature to get down below zero. It's currently 6 degrees. And we're also dealing with snow showers. In fact, the snow came off of Lake Ontario and it was producing whiteout conditions just due to the wind. We do have some snow showers out there this evening, so travel is going to be a little bit tricky. The wind gusts still 28 miles an hour at Griffiths and Row. We were up to 54 miles an hour earlier today, so it's been a very windy day. Again, our headlines, below zero wind chills, 20 to 40 below by tomorrow morning. And then it's all about the snow. We're expecting some heavy accumulation on Sunday, Sunday night, and Monday. We're still thinking it's a general 12 to 18 inches of accumulation. We have not touched the snowfall forecast since we put it out yesterday. Still looks like we're going to be taking a direct hit here from a coastal storm. Bursts of snow this evening, frigid cold tonight, 14 below zero in town. Again, we've got a very busy weather weekend ahead. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. And on WKTV.com, we have the list of warming centers for over the weekend. Oneida, Herkimer, and Otsego counties. Cancellations also at the bottom of your screen. Best bet to call ahead if you think an event is canceled. And there are and will be snow emergencies throughout the weekend as well, all listed at WKTV.com. Because of the weekend storm, a big fundraiser is being moved. The annual tailgate party at the Waterfront Grill in Herkimer, which benefits so many great organizations, is now postponed until February 8th. And by the way, that's Super Bowl Sunday. It'll be 11:30 to 3:30. The dangerous combination of extreme cold and heavy snow has the governor declaring a state of emergency throughout the entire state. This allows the state to coordinate with local governments and deploy resources quickly. All non-essential state employees told to stay home from work on Monday if possible. The governor is asking people to plan ahead, so get those prescriptions and stock up on food.
Keep an eye on all your forecasts. As I'm telling you today, they are changing. Follow all travel advisories and warnings from your local governments and stock up. We don't want to run on groceries, but you do not want to be that parent who ran out of peanut butter on Sunday night and have to go out into the bitter cold to buy it. Go to the grocery store, stock up food, water, baby food, pet food.
When the snow hits, state DOT will be ready. 1,600 large plows, 149 medium-sized plows, and 114,000 tons of salt on hand. Well, this may be just winter to us, but the massive storm is sweeping across.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good evening. We've got some frigid weather on the way. It's already cold, but tomorrow morning we drop to 20 to 40 below zero with the wind chill. The air temperature 10 to 20 below. So it is dangerously cold in the morning. You're going to want to limit your time outdoors. It's just going to be a nasty cold day to be out. Heavy snow arrives Sunday and into Sunday night, and totals over 12 inches in most areas. Live look in downtown Utica. We saw our own round of snow today, unrelated to what's coming over the weekend. Some lake effect snow has dropped south, and that's causing some visibility issues. There's so much wind out there that the snow is blowing and drifting. So live look at the Airfield Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, snow continues to drop south. The timing of snow tomorrow on Sunday looks to be somewhere between 9 a.m. to noon, depending on where you live. The southern part of our area, it's closer to 9, heading towards Old Forge. The start time of the snow will be closer to noon. It starts out relatively light. This is not going to come in fast and furious like lake effect and other types of snow. The snow will gradually build throughout the day. The worst time to travel Sunday looks to be late in the day, Sunday evening, Sunday night. By Monday, the weather does get a little bit better. We're seeing some light snow Monday, but it won't be as heavy as what we're dealing with out there Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Reminder to bring in the pets. Again, it's going to be a very cold night tonight. We're looking at wind chills tomorrow below zero throughout most of the day. In fact, we look at wind chills heading into Saturday morning, and it's again 20 to 40 below zero region wide. The coldest wind chills in the Adirondacks. The wind chills stay well below zero throughout the day, even by 5 p.m. Looking at wind chills 10 to 15 below zero. And again, that stays below zero heading into Sunday or Saturday night and Sunday. Even Sunday afternoon, the wind chills stay below zero the entire weekend as we track snow. Snow tonight, again, drops south and generally comes to an end. We are expecting overnight lows again between 10 to 20 below zero. It's sunny throughout most of Saturday. Some lake effect clouds south and west of Utica. Temperatures again in the single digits. Tomorrow night we're down below zero. And then on Sunday, the snow starts to break out as you head throughout the day. The morning time, 8 a.m., it looks dry, but watch what happens. We're expecting snow to envelop the area by 1 p.m., steady snow, and throughout the day, it snows in a very cold environment. Temperatures will be in the single digits, so the snow is going to look a little bit different. It's going to have a different shape to it. It's going to look more like sugar in this very, very cold environment. Very light, very fluffy, and it still piles up. Thinking 12 to 18 inches of accumulation region-wide, 8 to 12 inches north of the Mohawk Valley, slightly farther away from the storm track, but again, still plenty enough to shovel. And it's going to be very cold when you shovel this Sunday night and Monday. Windy, snow showers tonight down to 14 below zero. Frigid tomorrow, a high of 6. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. 8 on Sunday. Snow breaks out, becomes steady to heavy throughout the day. And it comes to an end Monday. Temperatures remain in the teens next week with lake effect snow chances Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back.
alert day because of what's coming up this weekend. And those numbers behind you tell quite the story tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just walking outside, I mean, it hits you right in the face. It is so cold out, and we haven't even bottomed out. We've got all night to cool off. We're already seeing a wind chill of 16 below zero. It fluctuates. We actually saw it as low as 18 below zero just a few moments ago. So it is very cold out. Air temperature 4, that will drop below zero tonight. Again, the winds will gradually subside. As the winds back off, it actually allows the temperature to fall more quickly, I should say. We're tracking some snow showers out there tonight. This lake effect band will be dropping south. Latest gust out of Griffiths and Rome, 33 miles an hour. It was as high as 54 miles an hour earlier today, and it's been causing blowing and drifting snow. Headlines tonight, 20 to 40 below wind chills Saturday morning. That's the worst of it. It's a frigid Saturday, but it's dry. We're tracking snow for Sunday and Sunday night. No changes made to the snowfall forecast. I'm looking at all the new data, and everything's lining up to what we were thinking yesterday. Still thinking 12 to 18 inches of accumulation for most of the Mohawk and Southern valleys, 8 to 12 inches possible north of the Mohawk Valley. Tonight, temperatures drop into the single digits to below zero, calling for an overnight low of 14 below. Again, windy, a couple of snow showers. Frigid conditions throughout the whole weekend. We're tracking the timing of Sunday's snowstorm. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. On WKTV.com right now, we have the list of warming centers for over the weekend. Oneida, Herkimer, and Otsego counties. We have cancellations also on the bottom of your screen. And best bet, call ahead if you think an event is canceled. And there are and will be snow emergencies, all listed at WKTV.com. Because of the weekend storm, a big fundraiser has to be moved. The annual tailgate party at the Waterfront Grill in Herkimer, which benefits so many great organizations, is now been moved to February 8th. That is Super Bowl Sunday from 11:30 to 3:30. Well, this may just be winter for us, but this massive storm is sweeping across half the country. Close to 230 million people are under severe weather alerts for the weekend. The storm is expected to bring crippling snow, dangerous ice as well. Ivan Rodriguez is in Dallas, Texas, with details on the expected treacherous conditions across the country.
Multiple crews prepping and treating runways at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta as the busiest airport in the world braces for a massive winter storm that could cripple travel for days.
We are expecting that we'll have snow and ice that we'll have to deal with.
Close to 230 million people from New Mexico up to Maine are under weather alerts through Monday as half the country prepares for catastrophic conditions, bringing heavy snow and dangerous ice.
Downed trees and power lines could cause extended power outages and debris issues.
Multiple states and D.C. have declared a state of emergency. This monster storm could bring nearly an inch of ice or more to large sections of the plains and south. Parts of the Midwest and Northeast will be pounded with snow. Some areas like upstate New York could see up to 2 feet. Even New York City could get more than a foot of accumulation.
This is a very dangerous combination of heavy snow and extreme cold temperatures.
Ahead of this massive storm comes the bitter and extreme cold. Arctic air and wind chills will send feels-like temperatures well below zero in some parts of the country. The mix of brutally cold temperatures and ice could be disastrous for places not equipped for these conditions, like Dallas.
Additional resources are in the city of Dallas, and they're ready to respond to outages or any disruptions that we experience.
Already, thousands of flights have been canceled nationwide ahead of this weekend storm, and many more are expected as this storm continues through Monday. In Dallas, I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
That's a big story we've been following for you. High energy bills. Everybody's feeling the hurt right now. Hundreds of viewers have emailed here, the newsroom, looking for answers. So we asked National Grid and NYSEG, what's causing the increase? They tell us cold weather, high supply prices, and higher energy usage are all causing bills to jump. While the PSC controls the delivery rates from National Grid and NYSEG, the rates charged by suppliers are not. And now local elected officials say they have a plan to bring some much-needed relief. Senator Griffo, along with Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw and Assemblyman Brian Miller, felt it was so important they held a news conference today to talk about it. They say they would return unused funds from the State Clean Energy Act fund to ratepayers, implement a one-year tax holiday, and implement more accountability for utility companies.
I have co-sponsored legislation, as the senator had brought forward, that talks about the PSC coming to the legislative bodies before they put an increase forward so that we can review it.
We're not just sitting here pointing fingers. We're offering ideas and suggestions that we believe, if people are truly sincere and care, these could have a meaningful and somewhat immediate impact.
It's not going to be something that's can be waited on. It's going to be 25 below zero tomorrow, and who knows how long this winter is going to continue the way it is. And it's not going to be just this winter. You know, they'll be dealing with heating costs, with air conditioning costs next summer.
Now, we have even more in-depth coverage at WKTV.com to start your stories, what you're telling us about your bills. Also, you'll find the numbers breaking down the operating expenses and revenue for National Grid and NYSEG and what the State Public Service Commission is saying about these high bills. New tonight, Oneida County Executive Anthony Vicente is
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're in alert mode. We've got some bitterly cold weather on the way. Well, it's already cold out there now, but it gets much worse by tomorrow morning. Wind chills 20 to 40 below zero. Heavy snow arrives as we head into Sunday. A very busy weekend of weather here in Central New York.
Extreme.
Tonight, things are settling down. We had a band of lake effect snow that has moved through, and it did create whiteout conditions. The snow continues to drop to the south and east. There will be some accumulation tonight, primarily across Madison County and out towards Syracuse. The timing of the snow on Sunday looks to be 9 to 10 a.m. south of the Mohawk Valley, Route 20 corridor south, 10 to 11 a.m. for the Mohawk Valley, and then 11 a.m. to noon for the North Country. The snow starts out light, and it gradually builds throughout the day. So if you're heading out to church services in the morning, I think things will be okay, but it does get worse throughout the day. The snow does pile up, and it's the afternoon where things become more and more tricky. Sunday evening, it looks really tough to get around with snowfall rates at 1 inch per hour and heavy accumulation by then. Heaviest snow Sunday evening, Sunday night. By Monday, it's still snowing, but it is a lot lighter. Reminder, bring your pets inside. And wind chills tonight, dangerously cold. They really shouldn't be out for long periods of time. Yourself included, take breaks if you're going to be out throughout the day Saturday. Again, wind chills in the air temperatures in the single digits. Wind chills will be double digits below zero. Again, tonight, we're down to 20 to 40 below zero by tomorrow morning. The wind chill stays 10 to 15 below zero all day tomorrow. It stays double digits below zero tomorrow night. And even on Sunday, it stays below zero. So sub-zero wind chills all weekend long. Frigid weather continues. We're also tracking, again, widespread snow for Sunday. Lake effect snow showers come to an end tonight. It's sunny, it's beautiful, but it's cold. It's downright frigid throughout all of Saturday. It looks dry, some lake effect clouds south and west of Utica. Frigid Saturday night, temperatures fall below zero. Some clouds return Sunday morning, and the snow breaks out from south to north. So 8 o'clock in the morning, it's dry, but then that late snow breaks out and becomes steady to heavy throughout the day. Look at the temperatures here. Single digits throughout the whole event, which means the snow is going to look a little bit different. It's going to be more like sugar, smaller flakes this time, and less of those postcard pictures that you see with snow. 12 to 18 inches of accumulation is expected across the Mohawk and Southern Valleys. On the northern side of this system, less snowfall, so 8 to 12 inches heading up towards Boonville and Old Forge. Tonight, frigid, 14 below zero. Snow showers, especially south and west. Frigid tomorrow, sunny, 6 degrees. Snow Sunday and Monday. The weather next week looks very cold. We're in the teens. Some lake effect snow showers here as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Jason.
Bill, thank you. That's going to do it for us. Up next, though.